Has anyone told you they look just like your mom and dad when they were young? The fact that we look like our parents, we inherit their traits, this is not a mere coincidence. 150 years ago, an Austrian monk called Gregor Mendel conducted research on pea plants. From his research, we now know that we inherit our parents' traits because we inherit their DNA. Mr. Neo, so I get half my DNA from my father and half my DNA from my mother, right? Well, you get the idea, but that is not the full story. You see, we have some DNA that only comes from our mother and it resides in our mitochondria. This mitochondrial DNA codes for proteins which are essential for oxidative phosphorylation in the mitochondria to produce ATP. On the flip side, mitochondrial DNA is involved in human diseases and aging. This has something to do with mutation. Mitochondrial DNA undergoes mutation that is 100 times higher than that of nuclear DNA. I'll share two underlying theories that explain why. Number 1. High levels of reactive oxygen species in the mitochondria. The electron transport chain in the mitochondria produces lots of reactive oxygen species in the form of superoxide radicals and hydrogen peroxide. All of these oxidize our mitochondrial DNA and they mutate. Number 2. Most mitochondrial DNA have a proportionately large amount of guanine nucleotides. Research suggests that this causes more mistakes during mitochondrial DNA replication, causing mutation. Okay, but what happens when mitochondrial DNA mutates? So, these mutations actually disrupt the respiration process in the mitochondria, leading to decreased metabolic function, increased cell death, and less DNA replication. These contribute to tissue aging. When these mutations accumulate, we may get diseases such as cancer or Parkinson's disease. Now, after going through how mitochondrial DNA is involved in aging, here's a food for thought. Would this particular aging mechanism affect more men or more women? Mr. Neo, since mitochondrial DNA is inherited from the mother, therefore women should be more affected, right? Intuitively, that sounds like it makes sense, but there is no evidence for that. However, there was a research study done in 2012 which reasons that because mitochondrial DNA is only passed down from females, therefore it can only be acted upon by selection that acts directly on females. So let's say you have a mutation in your mitochondrial DNA that makes you infertile. If this infertility affects women, then they will never be able to pass on their mitochondrial DNA and the trait will die out. However, if this infertility affects only men, then women can pass on the trait. Their sons will be infertile, but their daughters will be healthy and pass on the trait. In this case, the maternally inherited DNA has picked up a mutation that only affects men. This study has very interesting implications, and in the future, this might help to explain things like why females have a longer lifespan than males, or why Parkinson's disease affects more men than women. Although mitochondrial DNA has a very short sequence, it is important in explaining certain parts of our aging process.